Welcome back to another Chill Wednesday. I'm going to be answering more of the questions you guys submitted. I've also had some requests to review your car. So if you're interested in being featured in a Chill Wednesday episode, send an email over to roastme@driven.media. Include some info on your build and a couple photos of your car. It doesn't need to be an FRS, BRZ, or GR86. It could be a decked out lawnmower for all I care. I'm curious to see what everyone drives. For those of you who have been asking about merch, I'm actually gonna be restocking everything at the end of this week. And next week, I'm gonna be dropping some new merch, so be on the lookout. And with that being said, let's get to the questions. Do I prefer the FRS or GR86 more? It's a bit of a difficult question to answer because my FRS and GR86 have completely different purposes. The FRS is a dedicated track car, and the GR86 is more of a fun weekend warrior or daily driver. My intentions when I first got the FRS were to turn it into the perfect all-around car, which I could daily drive, but also rip around the track when I wanted to. You guys could obviously see how that turned out, but I will say I've really enjoyed the process of building the FRS into what it is today, and I always look forward to working on it. I've been able to install so many different parts that has helped me continue to grow my knowledge on the chassis, and it's essentially the car that's allowed me to go out on track and push the limits. I also wouldn't have started this YouTube channel without that car, so it's always gonna hold a special place in my heart. The GR86, on the other hand, the goal for the GR86 was to turn it into a clean JDM street build. That's why I have the Advans, the Brids, all the Cusco arms. I'm trying to stick with JDM parts where I can. It's my first new car, even though technically I bought it used, but it's a lot nicer inside compared to the FRS, even before I tore everything out. So I hate to do this, but I can't really give you a straight cut answer. If I'm looking to go out and just enjoy a nice drive, the GR86 is perfect for that. And it's got the creature comforts. I can't do that with the FRS anymore. But if I'm wanting to go tear it up out on track, that's what the FRS does best. And it's a hell of a time. Although I could take the GR86 to the track if I wanted to. So that kind of makes me lean towards that, but I couldn't decide. I love them both. The next question is what made me choose the GR86 over the BRZ? So this one, I can give you a straight answer, and it's not because one is better than the other, it's purely personal preference. The main reason why I chose to wait for a GR86 is because I like the front bumper a lot better than the BRZ front bumper. On the first gen, I actually preferred the BRZ front end, but I think on the second gen, it flip-flopped and the GR86 looks better. To me, the BRZ has a big old grin on its face with some cute dimples, and it reminds me of like a grown-up Miata. It's not a bad thing, it's just not what I prefer. The GR86 is a lot more sharp and aggressive, and I also didn't want to deal with the whole aluminum knuckles or the change in the rear sway bar mounting points, even though it's not a big deal. But I went with the GR86 because everything is essentially the same, and I wanted to be able to swap everything over if needed. So the main reason is the bumper, but maybe also the Gazoo racing heritage. Okay, what's next? Other than the FRS and GR86, what other platforms do I want to own? Oof, this could be a whole video on its own, but one of the first things that comes to mind that I've wanted for a while is an EG Honda Civic hatchback in either Milano Red or Captiva Blue Pearl. It's a Ricer 90s kid in me that's wanting to reminisce. Something about the old school hatchback look just gets me. I love the rear end of that car with the round taillights and the voluptuous, that is a really weird way of describing it. We're just gonna move past that. I've also been wanting to get into the drift scene for some reason. They seem to always be having the most fun out on track. It'd be cool to do an FRS or BRZ drift build, but I don't want to work on FRSs for the rest of my life. So I've been looking at 350Zs because they seem fairly affordable and popular in the drift scene. Whether or not that's actually going to happen, who knows? The GR Corolla has caught my attention like many others, but that's probably well out of my reach at this point. Oh, I missed my S2000. I wish I could have kept that and done more with it. So that's something that I'd like to have in the future. Maybe I should do a video going through all the cars that I've owned, even though it's not that much. Let me know. Moving on, what is the worst install I've ever done? I feel like if you've worked on your car before, you have a story like this. And for me, I think it's when I installed the Tomei unequal length header on the WRX, and it wasn't because it was a really difficult install, but because of the problems that occurred during the process. First off, that car is a complete piece of shit. There's so many different parts that were just thrown on there for marketing purposes, and there really wasn't any direction to the build. So sometimes you'd run into compatibility issues. And because they were unequal length headers, they had an odd shape, which meant I ran into clearance issues with other parts that were installed on the car, which made things a big headache. And then turbo stud seized up, which made it even worse. Every install is just a nut or bolt away from becoming a complete disaster. And that was one of the worst ones. I also remember hating the Boomba short shifter install, but I think that was more because I had to film in a really tight space and it was difficult to get the angles. But yeah, both those situations sucked. I'd be curious to hear from you guys. What are your stories? Comment down below. Here's a good one. What's your advice to someone who wants to start getting into motorsports? I love that this question popped up because it's what I want to inspire people to do, to take their car out and enjoy it to its full potential and not just utilize it as a tool to get you from point A to point B. Honestly, the route that I took is what I'd recommend. Go out there and find an autocross near you and sign up. It's like $50. I don't actually know how much it costs nowadays, but it is the most inexpensive way to get into motorsports. It's the safest as well. The worst you can do is hit a couple cones. It's not hard on your car or your tires. It's cheap. The people there are usually very helpful and accommodating. So if it's your first time, let them know. They'll pair you up with an instructor or an experienced driver. You'll get some ride-alongs, have the time of your life, and get hooked. It is the gateway drug into motorsports. And really the biggest advice I can give is to just go out there and try it. I don't want to say that you're missing out because it's not going to be for everybody, but if you don't try it, you'll never know. Also, another piece of advice I'd give is to try to do it with your car stock if possible. You don't need all sorts of modifications, and it's actually gonna be a lot more beneficial if you start doing this when your car is stock. It'll give you appreciation for the modifications that you do after the fact, and you can learn what each thing does and be able to actually feel what it does. The last question is, what are my favorite 3 modifications that I've done? I don't think that I can just name off 3 for both cars, so what I'm gonna do is name 3 for each car, 3 for the FRS and 3 for the GR86. We'll start with the FRS. The first one has to be the Various Engineering UCW rear wing. I had never installed a big wing on any of my cars before, so I was worried that it was gonna be too over the top. But after I installed it, it looks absolutely amazing. It's not too big, the carbon fiber is beautiful, and most importantly, I could instantly feel the difference it made out on track, especially when I paired it up with the front splitter. The amount of grip you're able to achieve with aero is crazy. Number 2 is my wheels, the Apex EC7Rs. The bronze and red is perfect. They've also been through a beating and had no issues whatsoever. It's simple, really. They look good and they do the job well. The last one is going to be the wrap that I did. Not because it's a magnificent modification, but more so because I really enjoyed the process of doing it. I had never wrapped a car before, so trying to do what I did was a bit daunting, but it turned out way better than I had imagined. It really gave me an appreciation for the people that do this as a career, and it's a skill that I would like to continue to grow. So maybe we'll change things up soon. For the GR86, I've already said this, the Bridge Stradia 3s, hands down, favorite modification, maybe of all time. They look immaculate inside the car, especially with the red that I went with. They feel super comfortable as well, which was a concern of mine because I had never sat in them before. It was a really easy install that made a world of a difference. I also really enjoy the Sayber Designs carbon fiber front lip. The GR86 is already aggressive as is, but once I installed that, it looked nuts. I do need to build some ramps for my driveway though, so I can get in and out without scraping. And then last, we have the AWE Touring Edition exhaust. This is still one of my favorite exhausts that I've tested on this car, and I think it's mostly because it can be quiet when you need it to be, unless it's cold start, but rowdy when you get on it. And the pops and cracks on the downshifts are just the cherry on top. And there you have it, guys. That's gonna wrap it up for this week's Chill Wednesday. If you have any questions you'd like answered, leave them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to check out the driven.media website for the new merch drop. If you're enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.